Hi, it's Friday, October 2nd, 2020. Thank you for joining me. When we think about language, it's actually really all vibration. And we all understand vibration intuitively. And then when we use actual words, all words are really an intangible carrier of a tangible consciousness. So, what I mean by that is whenever we're using words, it's a consciousness having a coherent experience, and then through the expression of word, it can then be interpreted by another consciousness. But the actual word itself is sort of like this inanimate in, intangible carrier of something tangible, which is the experience of the consciousness, which is expressing the word. So all words in that sense are really just kind of imaginary and subjective, and we can use the same word to mean literally the opposite thing. And just like as a funny example of that, like the F word, like you could be like F yeah or like F you, and it like literally could be completely pure positive or completely the lack of thereof. And so when we think of things as physical and non-physical, we actually are more non-physical, and we could even think of ourselves as completely non-physical. And when we think of who we really are as self, we're talking semantics with language, but we think of ourself as a human and ourself as source, but it's all us. And so when we think of things from the perspective of non-physical to physical, it releases resistance and resolves any tension through the human condition and the human experience of like believing that we're physical or limited in any kind of way, when in fact the opposite is the case. We're infinite, we live forever in our physical body, which is in fact a pattern of vibration. So when we look at things from the perspective of non-physical to physical, everything we identify with as self, all of our desires, our friends and family, every experience we have in life, it's really a pattern of vibration. It's our consciousness, and it is inextricably one with who we are. So that can never go anywhere, and it's just this eternal now in that consciousness that we're experiencing. And so the idea of death or whatever, it's really just like continuous eternal doorways of just waking up into new consciousness. And if any of us have had experience with lucid dreaming, it is the same experience of just recognizing that I am eternal, and whatever reality I'm in, I can wake up from that reality, and I'm going to wake into a higher reality because I'm just infinite reality. And so there's infinite ways for us to allow our desires to come to us. And when our desire is so dominant, it actually can overcome resistance. But it is also possible to release resistance completely, to just let the powerful desire dominate without the resistance, so that it really is truly this joyful enjoyment of every step on our journey of enthusiasm and eager anticipation and appreciation and enjoyment. So we're enjoying every step to everywhere we want to be, owning the pure positive emotion from the very beginning. And with this consciousness, we can feel ourselves in the center of the vortex. So it's calm. And everything is just naturally gravitating to us, and us to it. We're inspired to rendezvous. So we're a fluid consciousness, and what's stable and secure is the personality that we experience emotionally. So all the things that matter to us, that's what's real, that's who we are. And we can just move into that and appreciate that we can release resistance, and there's always going to be more resistance if we're talking about a physical experience. again, when we look from the perspective of non-physical to physical, we can release the resistance by recognizing that if we're talking about physical, there has to be resistance in order to identify what is wanted and continually create new things. So contrast is necessary for physical experience, yet we can continually release resistance so that the contrast we're experiencing is step 4 and 5, and it's playful, it's not serious. So even through potential challenges or moving forward in time, we just recognize our own invincibility and are not reacting to anything new, as we're inevitably going to stumble on new contrast. But we can, as we move forward, just calibrate to this higher understanding of who we are, and this is what ascension is all about. So bringing the physical up into the eternal non-physical. So we're creating our own reality in this way, where we get to wake up every day and just be like, what is life about to me? And we get to just live that and create that forever. Because as we get older and we move through time, we actually have the opportunity to become increasingly vital as we release resistance and recognize that it's a 100% illusion that there's any need to decline with the moving of time through form. So as we expand in our consciousness, it's actually easier to experience increased vitality and the feeling of youth. And I could talk forever, but I'm going to just leave it with, let's have an awesome day, and let's understand ourselves as the non-physical source of our own unique reality, and just embrace our physical self, love ourselves so hard, and appreciate ourselves, and champion this for everyone in a spirit of inclusion, but just allowing ourselves to go on our merry way, following our bliss, allowing each and every other person to hone in on their unique individual connection with Source. And when we really wish happiness for others, that's how we can best support them, by supporting them in establishing their connection to their inner being, which is the source of all of our happiness for each of us as individuals. So thank you, and peace.